could go in the early morning and come back anytime at night without any problem. Any Syrian citizen, when he applies to the government, within a passage of time, very small installments, he will get a house. So it's not a question of economy. Syrian economy had a self-sufficient economy. We make everything, we have everything, it's all Syrian. So this is not a question of, to be compared like other countries. It's not a question of economy. It's not a question of Islam, because Islam spread to Europe from Syria. Even Christianity spread to Europe from Syria. In Syria, you don't have a problem with your religion, as long as you are a citizen who respects the society, who respects the law and the constitution. So it's not a question of Islam. In Syria, we don't want anybody to teach us Islam, because we believe Islam is a practice. And we see the practice of Islam. You don't have the right to say that Islam is mine. It's not enough to have some holy sites in your country, so you say that I own Islam. Islam, my brothers and sisters, is practice. It's not only some words. I say, I have recently got my PhD from Indonesia, so I always say, see the practice of Islam in Indonesia, and don't see the teachings of Islam of some Arab countries who sell and buy Islam. Now, brothers and sisters, they are buying and selling Islam, including some fatwas. But I ask you all, now I ask, does Islam call for killing people and eating them?
No.
This is what the opposition is doing now in Syria. Is this Islam?
Evil.
Never. Ulamas, they are supposed to help us understand Islam. Are they supposed to make fatwas to call us to kill each other? This is what the opposition this is what the so-called opposition and some, unfortunately, blind Arab Muslim countries calling for fitna. That's why I call my brothers here for Islam. Don't listen to them. Yes, they have political money. Yes, they have political money. But you in Indonesia, you have a good practice of real Islam. The last thing I would like is something about politics. And I would love to go back to the year 1993 when the so-called neoliberal conservatives, and I'm quite sure that many of you know about Bernard Lewis and Samuel Huntington. Huntington, 1993, he called for he spoke about the clash of civilizations, meaning Islam. And he said that will start with Indonesia. He said that the clash of civilizations, speaking about Islam, will start from Indonesia to Morocco, and of course in between. Only 4 years later, some investor called George Soros, and quite everybody
George
knows
Soros,
that.
yeah.
He came here, within a short time, he did what he did for the economy of Indonesia. Only 2 years later, the separation of Timor-Leste. Only 2 weeks ago, Britain opened an office for a certain movement calling for the independence of Papua. This is the West. This is the reality. If somebody wants to know the real enemy, it's there in Israel, who is occupying our land, who is killing the Palestinians, and the Americans and the West never say anything. The real enemy is there. It's not in Syria. It's not in Syria. Syria is a small, peaceful country. Yes, we call ourselves, we are the biggest small country. Our message is peace, equality, a place for everybody. And we don't want anybody to push us for more blood and poverty. The last thing I would love to say, I don't want to take much of your time. You know that there is the coming international conference in Geneva for Syria. Simply speaking, in very simple words, our position in the Syrian government is dialogue, dialogue, dialogue. in the beginning of this year, we sent our program, which we have fulfilled a great degree of. We sent it to the United Nations and to everybody, and it's our obligation, documented obligation. Only 3 days ago, the foreign minister of Syria said, we are going to Geneva unconditionally. But everybody knows that the opposition has not decided or has not agreed to participate yet. Why? Because they are receiving their weapons, their finance from some pictures here, who are more Americans than the Americans and serve in the interest of Israel. Thank you so very much. I pray to Almighty God to keep and to prevail security and safety for loving Indonesia. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.
Oke, jelas ya.